As Barbara said this morning, the more you know, the more you know that you don't know. There are so many things that are happening in this nether world behind our backs, things that happen that we are not aware of, and that's going to be more or less the subjects of our next two presenters. Fritz Springmeier, coming to us from Oregon, has spent 20 plus years researching what's been going on in things that most people, not this crowd particularly, but of course most people really have no clue on, in the area of influencing actions of people with various types of mind control. He has so much information it's almost incomprehensible. You wonder how anybody put together that much stuff in a 20-year period. One of the books that I have of his is encyclopedia size, and that's only one of whatever 10 or 20 that he's put together. So there is a lot of information for him to try to cram into the next 55 minutes for you, but he will have a workshop, of course. So welcome for the first time here at Global Sciences, of course, another new fine Fritz Springmeier, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Where were you when John F. Kennedy was assassinated? Do you remember how you felt? How old were you? What were you doing? Where were you when the Challenger exploded? Do you remember? How did you feel when you saw the pictures of the children that were killed at the daycare center at the Oklahoma City Federal Building? Do you remember? These are trauma memories. We remember them distinctly. They are indelibly etched into our minds. However, how many of us know the lie that was programmed into us at each of those traumas? Now, I realize that most of you don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm getting there. See, I'm not challenging your memories of those traumas. Each of us remember those traumas very distinctly. However, the problem is that we don't know the lie that it was attached to each of those traumas. In fact, most of us have never even considered that the conspiracy killed John F. Kennedy in full view of this country for a reason, in order to program us a lie. We've never asked ourselves, why didn't they quietly poison him and make it look like a natural death? In spite of John F. Kennedy's good front of being healthy, JFK was a medical basket case. So why didn't they try to take advantage of his natural weaknesses? So we've got two facts here. The fact is that they killed John F. Kennedy in full view of the entire nation, and the other fact is that we still have a trauma memory associated around that trauma. However, we do not understand, most of us, how they programmed in a lie to us through that trauma. Now, those traumas that we have just discussed are very mild compared to the type of traumas that we're going to be discussing today and in the workshop tomorrow in the afternoon. I'm here to tell you about trauma-based total mind control. This is a type of mind control which turns the victim into a puppet, a slave. This is a type of mind control which is so horrendous that it dehumanizes a person to be a robot, an expendable piece of machinery that they can throw away. And the problem is that this mind control is essentially totally undetectable. The things that I'm going to be telling you today are going to affect you and your children and your grandchildren. And I don't have enough time up here in 55 minutes or an hour to give you much more than just scratch the surface of what I have to tell you. But I do want to be able to, in this first hour, to tell you the issues and then also expose you to our literature, our information that we have that you can obtain that covers those issues, so that if you want to obtain more information on this, you can. Today I'm going to give you some important keys to some of the important mysteries in your life. Everyone loves a treasure hunt. Today you've hit the mother lode. Mind control pertains to many of the things in our life. Why are so many people being abducted by UFOs? Why do things keep going wrong in our government? Who is running the world? How do we protect ourselves from someone who's an intelligent agent of the New World Order? How do we protect ourselves from deception? These are all issues that relate to mind control, and they're the type of issues that I give answers to. What would you like to know about the New World Order or its mind control? Or perhaps the subject bores you. If you don't know where you're going, how will you know when you get there? Where is this nation going? Where are we going with all these UFO abduction experiences? I'll tell you, we are headed toward total mind control. And I'm giving you this talk to motivate you, to help you, to inspire you, to inform you. Now I'd like to do a little exercise. Look at the person on your right and look at the person on your left. Now I'm not doing this to instill fear into you. But the reason I wanted you to look at the person on your right and the person on your left and then yourself is because one or all of you may be under this total mind control and not even know it. But I'm not saying this to instill fear into you, but I'm trying to motivate you out of your complacency. Because after I found out about this horrendous mind control, which is being carried out on such a grand scale, that my life became insignificant compared to the suffering of the millions of victims. And that's why I've dedicated my life to stopping this mind control, or doing as much about it as I can. But I can't do it all by myself, and nor can I succeed with my co-author Cisco Wheeler back there, but we need all of your help. Now this has been a great conference. There's been a lot of great speakers. But if I was to sum up this conference, I would sum it up as saying mind control and disinformation. What do I mean by disinformation? Today, people don't understand what disinformation is. One needs to go and study, which I have done, how these intelligence agencies that disseminate disinformation, how they operate, and what kind of disinformation they put out. A very good example of this is MI5 and MI6, British intelligence. Maybe a lot of you are aware that British intelligence created American intelligence. And British intelligence is extremely powerful. Before World War II got started, the British had infiltrated the Nazi spy apparatus, so that every German agent that was recruited into the Nazi apparatus that was spying on Britain had to become a double agent. 100% of the German agent spying on Great Britain was a double agent for the British. And anyone who joined those spy cells had to become a double agent, or they got dropped, so they kept the continuity. Through those double agents, they disseminated disinformation to the Germans. If you will study the type of disinformation that they fed through those German agents, you'll get a good idea of the type of disinformation that's being disseminated to you all through double agents. Some of them have been up here as speakers. You may think that disinformation is simply passing a lot of lies. No. Disinformation has to look like the absolute truth, but you slip in a little poison with it. So some of these double agents that the Nazis had received very big decorations by Hitler. In fact, one of these British agents, double agents, received the highest award that Hitler could give him, while at the same time he received the highest award that the British could give him. Kind of interesting, huh? An example of how disinformation works. You give 99% true information, and it's that one little piece of disinformation that's the clincher. So through their spies, they fed the Germans the range of their naval radar, but they understated it. Well, the Germans were excited to get any information on the British radar, their naval radar. When the Bismarck sailed, and you're familiar with the battleship Bismarck, because their intelligence agencies had been fed this shortened range of the naval, British capabilities of their naval radar, that one little piece of disinformation, they made a big mistake, and that mistake cost them the Bismarck. So see, this is how critical it is to understand how a speaker can get up here in front of you, he can give you 95% good information, and it's that 5% poison that he's going to give you that'll be the clincher. It's very hard to understand, for most of us to understand how disinformation comes about. Now, my co-author back there, she said, "Fritz, you're not going to hold back on these people, are you?" Well, for those of you who don't know me, if you watch that movie Braveheart, when I watched the movie Braveheart, I realized that's me, you know. I've been trying to fight these people, and I've got the same spirit. No, I'm not going to hold back on you people, and I don't think you want me to hold back. You want the whole truth, and I'm going to give you the truth as best as I can. And some of you who don't know may be wondering, who is this Fritz Springmeier character? And so, unfortunately, I need to just take a minute and tell you about myself. Why am I in a position to be up here telling you things that other people can't? I think it goes back to several generations before me. My great-grandfather was a very insightful, wise, intelligent, good man. He lived in Germany before World War I, and he saw, because he was insightful, what was coming. So he escaped in a wagon underneath some sacks of grain across the border into the Netherlands, because he saw that a world war was coming at a time when most of the world was just having a good time. And I think God honored the desires of his heart not to be involved in